Welcome to Mindful Haven, a podcast brought to you by Chasing a Dream Foundation, where we open up real conversations around the emotional and mental wellness of families facing life-threatening childhood illnesses and disabilities. I'm your host, Lori Griffith. Today, we're shining a light on a truly essential part of pediatric care, the Child Life Department. Behind every brave child undergoing treatment is a team working not only to heal their body, but to protect their spirit, their sense of self, and their childhood. Child Life Specialists are trained professionals who help children and their families cope with hospitalization, illness, and trauma through play, preparation, emotional support, and compassion. Whether it's helping a child understand their diagnosis, easing fear before a procedure, or creating space for healing through creativity and connection, Child Life plays a vital role in turning a clinical setting into one of trust, comfort, and resilience. Today's guests bring that work to life. So let's dive into this important conversation and explore how Child Life services help children and families not just survive, but find hope and healing along the way. Please welcome today's guests. Julie Millar is a certified pediatric child life specialist with over 20 years of experience supporting children and families through hospitalization and illness. Based in Jupiter, Florida, Julie is passionate about empowering young patients through play, preparation, and emotional support. A dedicated professional and proud mom, Julie finds joy in traveling, music, boating, scuba diving, cars, and hiking with her family. Danielle Williams, a lifelong Palm Beach County resident, has been a registered nurse since 2000, earning her degrees from Palm Beach State College and Florida Atlantic University. While serving as a nurse case manager at St. Mary's, she embraced a new opportunity and now proudly serves as the Child Life Officer's Office Supervisor at Palm Beach Children's Hospital. Danielle lives in Lake Worth with her husband of 26 years and is the proud mom of 2 sons pursuing degrees at UCF. Yay! I am so glad to have you guys here. This is, you guys have brought Child Life to a whole new level at Palm Beach Children's. It is just amazing working with you guys. I have the utmost respect for what you do, and I had no idea how in-depth and how important your role is in pediatric illness. So we're going to do a deep dive on that, and so for our listeners unfamiliar with Child Life, how would you describe your role?
Pediatric Child Life Specialists take the fear out of the rooms in the hospital. We normalize the environment to make it the best hospitalization experience possible. And in doing so, as developmental experts, we get down to their level, assess what the problem may be or what's happening in the room, and explain to them at their level what is happening or what will be happening so that they can master that upcoming experience and have a positive outcome. That is our goal. And in doing so, we use real therapeutic play, real medical tools so that they can have that hands-on experience in pushing the meds, starting an IV, looking at what an operating room looks like, touching the anesthesia mask so that there is no surprise. That's the hope.
That's great. And for all of you guys watching, this is Julie. I know I introduced them both, but you didn't see who was who.
Thank you for having me.
That's Julie, and that's Danielle. Awesome. Okay, do you want to elaborate on that?
Surely. Thank you for having us, by the way. We're
Yeah,
really
for
excited
sure.
to be here. I get to support, I have the pleasure and the honor of supporting the work that Julie does. So she's very forward-facing. She's in the room with the children and their families. I get to be behind the scenes, making sure we have everything that we need in child life, serving as a community liaison with our donors and our foundations who support us and our families. So together we're the dynamic duo. That's what we call ourselves.
Yeah,
That's for sure. And I think when you guys are so awesome at dressing up all the time, too. Like, if you look at Palm Beach Children's at their social media, it's a riot seeing these guys. They're like in capes or they're like, what are some of the costumes you guys have done?
the holidays for Halloween,
the holidays for sure.
Christmas, we were elves. We're not shy.
No, you're not shy. No. Which is what I love. And that's what the kids need, right?
Mm-hmm.
They need somebody coming in there like dressed like an elf or, just play and find a little bit of happy there for sure. So let me ask you, how do you prepare the children for procedures like chemotherapy, surgery, MRIs to make them feel safe and give them and empower them? How do you do that?
So, a lot of times, our pediatric patients have many questions and misconceptions. And I think it's really important to validate how smart our children are. And with that piece, overcoming trust and openness with our parents to make sure that we're telling the truth. That is a barrier at times. But in going in there and showing the parent what I'm going to provide as a service really opens up the possibilities of honesty and their choice and allowing me to potentially lead the way to what their journey may be. So a simple or most basic experience of starting an IV from a child's point of view, what is that? And so a child may be envisioning a plant like ivy.
Oh, right.
And so in showing them the real tools of what an IV looks
Yeah,
like.
show us that. Show us how you would explain that to a child.
Sure. So one of the scariest things for kids is the needle, the poke itself. And so in showing them once the IV is inserted and what an IV is and how it helps bring medicine and water to your body without having to continue getting pokes, and that it will stay there until you're done with your treatment and then we will take it out. That's a really important piece because they think, oh gosh, I'm going to maybe have this forever.
Yeah.
So that can be very frightening. But the poke itself, we can use Buzzy Bee to help numb and distract the actual initial poke, but more importantly, reminding them and showing them how the needle is removed and discarded. And what's left is a tiny, tiny little straw, a little tube that gives you that water and medicine inside your vein, and really breaking it down for them, what is going to happen and how I'm going to help you get through it, and what we're going to do with positioning for comfort. Do you want to do a comfort hug with your parent? Do you want to sit up? Do you want to get out of the bed and sit in a chair? Do you want to use a stress ball and hold that? Do you want to do breathing techniques with our pinwheel?
What's that?
So lowers our stress, right?
Okay.
Let's just practice breathing in
That's great.
and breathing out and using bubbles and different tools that could help us regulate our breath. Our breath is very special.
And to elaborate what Julie just said, giving kids, and I've read this, I know this as a parent, as a nurse, in child life as well, giving children options and choices that they can actually feel empowered because the power is not totally taken away from them. So Julie, like she said, we'll give them, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? And regardless of the age, it really seems to be a very powerful tool.
I'm thinking the pinwheel needs to be in the adult ER for sure. I never heard of that. Come on, any kind of distraction, right?
You'll see me with my distraction backpack here, down the hallways of the hospital, and they'll be like, hey, I need that.
I'm seriously keeping it in my car. So what else you have in your little, what's that gooey stuff?
Well, this is an example of a child who made what I call blood soup. So one of our sickle cell patients wanted a better understanding of what sickle cell is. And so in doing therapeutic play, kind of like a cooking activity, we made this blood soup together to help them really visualize and have a hands-on experience of what cells look like with sickle cell and without sickle cell, and how the blood flows or kind of gets inflamed. And so in doing that, it teaches them about their disease, their diagnosis. It's through play, it's therapeutic. It answers a lot of questions and misconceptions that they may have, not only about the disease itself, but why are they here in this hospital room? What am I doing here? And then it's empowering. They get it. Mm-hmm. They get it at their level. And it's not a one-time conversation. It's over many conversations with their parent, with their counselor, with me, with their doctors. So That's really a fun activity.
So I'm taking it that first one is what normal blood looks like, and this one with all the brown stuff in it is what sickle
Those
cell.
are our Tootsie Rolls, yeah.
Good. I'm glad you clarified that one. Wasn't going to say anything, but
Yes.
So that's what sickle cell. That's how you explain to them what sickle cell blood looks like,
And why maybe they're having pain, why it's getting clogged, why they're having that inflammation. And it's kind of like the aha moment for them, like, oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I like that. And what about the little cast on?
Yes.
Get going there.
So we have all kinds of surgeries. This could be you fell off your horse this summer. You fell off your boogie board. I don't know. But we like to show them real anesthesia mask and help demonstrate the process of going to surgery for maybe a broken leg. And in doing so, they typically already have their IV and talk about medicine that will be put into the IV to give them a special rest where they don't feel pain. That's usually the biggest question. Will I feel the surgery? That's a big fear kids have. So we talk about no and why and how. And so with the anesthesia mask, giving them that special medicine that forces the body to sleep while they have their surgery with no pain, and then giving them pure oxygen when they're finished with the surgery, kind of like we're breathing now, only better, that then forces the body to wake up, and then their parent will be with them in recovery room, and then taking them through those steps with the bed on wheels, gurney, and going with them physically. So I can wear the bunny suit or the surgical gear and go in them with them until they fall asleep, and then come out and let the parent know how they're doing. And that's really reassuring for the whole family.
Exactly. See, I didn't have any clue that you guys did as much that you do. So very impressive. Okay, so tell me about therapeutic play and creative expression and how that helps children process trauma.
I defer to you. You say it best.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so play. We are the play specialists, the play ladies, the toy lady. We get that a lot, right?
Yeah.
But child life specialists use play therapeutically in hospitals to help children cope with that stress and the understanding of medical procedures and express their emotions. So in my world, back in preschool teaching, if kids are not dirty, then they didn't learn anything. So we really like to get messy and make sure that they're hands-on. So today's world has a lot of electronics, which is super helpful with distraction. But when we're using it therapeutically, there are apps with medical stuff as well. But hands-on is best because it takes it to a new level in using the tools that they see the nurses and doctors with. So recently I had a toddler who was having a hard time taking her medicine. So Child Life got a referral for medical play for pill. Well, it was labeled pill swallowing, but she wasn't actually taking pills. It was liquid medication and having a hard time with that. So I met with the family and the toddler, explained who I was, and how we were going to go to the Child Life Playroom together and look at how this doll was going to take some medicine and do some medical play. So on the way down, the toddler was like, I could hear her behind me, I don't want to play with her. I don't want to go and play. I don't want to. And we finally make it to the playroom, and I get there and I set out all my toys, and she saw the syringe and she saw me scooping up and sucking up chocolate syrup and cherry syrup, and her eyes just lit up like, this lady's wild. She's crazy. Is she really going to let me do this? And so the empowering part is her taking that syringe, giving it to the baby over and over and over again, really acting out not only her own experience, but what's coming up and how to make it better. And which taste do you like? Do you like it mixed like this or mixed like that? And working through it together. And by the end, I was cleaning up. We made a heck of a mess. And the next thing I know is I feel something on my leg, and it's a big squeeze, and it's the toddler. Aww. And it's her way of thanking me.
Yeah.
And it just really sets you back like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. And how play really, really does work and the value. So we're not just the play ladies.
No, but everybody you talk to, they like the play ladies.
Yes, yes.
So let's segue over to with Chasing a Dream. We opened up 3 pediatric playrooms at the hospital, and they had been closed since COVID. So you would just have to do all of this in the child's room prior to that, right?
Yes.
So we, through great donations and support from the community, we were able to open up 3 pediatric playrooms, a teen room, and 2 younger child, 1 general age one, which is an underwater scene. And so how has that helped you and helped the children be able to have some place to go, but to be able to do your therapies?
Oh my goodness.
Such a respite.
Oh,
Yeah. Yesterday I saw a mom enjoying the massage chair and the parent component of the playroom on the first floor. And you could tell she was relaxed. I'm like, I'm so glad you're using that. It's wonderful. So it's so nice to see the children and their caregivers leave their rooms and just take a beat from the bed, the IVs next to the bed, just the whole clinical environment. That playroom is just fun for them. And we're able to have arts and crafts in there and
Absolutely.
fun things that the kids are really looking forward to doing.
and it's a safe space. And so in our playroom spaces, there are no medical treatments or procedures that occur there. And so knowing that I can just be a kid for a while and let loose and do what I want to do is what a child needs. And those spaces made my dreams come true as a child life specialist, because it's hard to do everything in someone's room, And so it was just so uplifting and empowering and exciting, and like, let's go play.
Yeah.
Like there's somewhere else other than this bed.
Right. Yeah. You know what I saw on social media the other day, which I absolutely love? There's 2 young girls teen girls, or preteens, tweens, I would say, in oncology. And they did the teen room. They brought in the mattresses and they did movie night on the floor. And that was just so incredible to see that. And they were so happy. The parents were so happy. And they'd also bonded to kids that met, and now they had a place to go to, but not just to go in there and play Pac-Man or air hockey or something like that. I thought it was ingenious bringing in mattresses and letting them have a movie night. I thought that was so cool. I mean, that just took it even beyond what we were thinking about when we built them. So I sent that to the design team that did it, and they were just crying. They were so happy. Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, so let me ask you some more questions and dig a little deeper into what you guys do. So when a child first comes in there, what a scary environment, right? Like, you've come in probably not planned, right? Like, you've either just gotten a horrible diagnosis or an injury, or you're sick, and you just, you don't want to be, you don't want to be there. Your parents don't want to be there. So how is it that you support the family, not only the child through this, but you have to support the entire family, right?
Yes. So knocking on a room and walking in and introducing our services is our first step in really trying to understand and meet the patient and family where they're at and what's happening. And so in doing so, we have hospital welcome bags that we try to give to every patient and family that we see. And in there is an activity where it's kind of like Build-A-Bear, but it's Build a Dinosaur, because that's our current mascot.
Wow.
But it kind of just lightens the mood and the space in terms of offering our service as like a safe person. Like, we're not here to poke and prod you. We're here to make your experience the best possible.
Yeah.
And so in explaining that, it's kind of like, oh, okay, she's not going to do anything to me. And then from there, it's kind of like, well, what do you like? Why are you here? Do you know why you're here? And helping them understand that and what's happening next in your journey or in your plan, and taking it from there, learning about what they do outside of the hospital, and then those siblings too, and making sure that they understand that things that are happening to them are not their fault. That's a big piece of child life, and making sure their mental health stays positive and joyful and hopeful. There is happiness and joy, and we can have sadness and still experience joy. And that's really our ticket in child life, is to continue bringing that joy to them, to all of them. And so we do entertainment, special events,
pet therapy, music therapy.
Yes, that's awesome. For sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to piggyback on what Julie was saying, is asking someone when they're in a really difficult situation, like a hospitalized child, what they need. I know personally, I wouldn't really know. So to figure out what's going on, prior to coming in, where are things at home, we try to figure based on what resources we have is what can we do for them? How can we lessen this burden of being in the hospital and dealing with what they're dealing with? Because it's overwhelming and not in a good way,
No, it's absolutely scary. And what about it? Do you find it harder when you have the kids that are teens versus the littles where, the littles, there's so much that you can entertain them with, but you get like a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old.
Those are my favorite.
Are they?
I love a challenge.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
But teens and infants are like a very high census at our hospital.
Yes.
So with the teens, it's figuring out maybe, are they a builder or are they an artist? Are they a sports person? Do they like music? Play and music come a long way no matter what our age is. And I have my voice with me. So it's like, let's sing a song. Let's make a song. There's so many fun things to do with teens. And at the end of the day, if they need time, we give it to them and we respect that. Sometimes rest is the best medicine.
Absolutely. So Chasing a Dream also provides the hospital backpack. So maybe, and in that, there's so much that the community gives to us. So we individualize based on your needs. We individualize the needs that you guys tell us about. We customize a backpack, and in there is the iPad and the stuffed animal and the blankets and toiletries, diffuser and oils, games, crafts. It's a pretty stuffed backpack. How important is that, like especially the iPad, to not only the littles, but to teens?
Yes, that support service goes above and beyond and supports both the social and emotional and sometimes the schooling for these families because so much is online now. Keeping in touch with your peers and your family, giving updates about your journey and what's happening, blogging, finding your favorite game or movie that may not be available out of what we have to offer really is a surprise for our patients and families, and they are just overwhelmed with comfort and joy and just happiness, and just they're in disbelief that this is for me, that you would come from the community and provide this for me.
Isn't that sad? That makes me so sad.
It's unexpected, but it's
sad, happy.
It's a good surprise.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Again, they're faced with this not dreadful place, but nobody really wants to be in the hospital, right? So you bring them this wonderful gift, and it's so unexpected and received with much love.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's just, it makes me sad that they're there. It makes me happy that So we love being able to provide this service. And that brings up the emotional needs. So not only the emotional needs of the child, but you guys have to then address the emotional needs of the parents and the siblings, right? Like you have a big job.
Yes. Hugs do wonder for our moms and dads. They give them to me before I give them to them sometimes, it's just like, because we're in it together. You're not alone. That's the big message from Child Life. We are here for you. If you find yourself in a hospital, ask for Child Life. You're not alone. People don't know to ask. In our hospital, though, it says Child Life on the board. So a lot of people are like, oh, that's you? So I put my name up there, Miss Julie, and the parents, they're just so grateful. And other parents are not ready. And that's okay, too. Mm-hmm. We need time to process things. So we just want to meet them where they're at and follow their lead, not be pushy in any way. And back off and say, it's okay. When you're ready, let me know. I'm here to help you. And some people are not ready to accept it, and that's okay too. And so we give them that time and space, and then they'll say, okay, now I'm ready. Now will you help me? Or they may never. And I just need to respect that. I'm a mom.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to have a loss of control when you're in that kind of environment.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to add, we are part of a wonderful team at Palm Beach Children's. We have a social worker, we have spiritual staff, we have the nurses, we have folks like Chasing a Dream that really all contribute. So it's, I don't want to say it takes a village, but it kind of does. We are part of a much bigger picture. And thankfully, Quantum House is there too. If they need a physical place to stay or a hot meal or shower, they are incredible to support our families as well. So I just want to say, we're thankful to have each other, but also have, a big team to be part of.
Yeah, community plays a huge part in everything, even for our helping the children in the hospital, but even after.
Absolutely.
It's, and everybody, working together, I think is so important. Like, I love what so many of the other nonprofits do. Like, Little Smiles is amazing, right? Like, you constantly see them in everywhere, and bringing pizza and doing pizza day and recognizing the nurses and the vital role that they play there as well. So how does mental wellness influence the physical healing? Because this is all about making their journey there easier, right? But mental wellness is a big thing, and that's why we've started the Mindful Haven group, is the trauma that not only the child experiences, but the family in general, and particularly the parents, and in a lot of cases after, not right then in the hospital, because they're just focused on, just getting their child better.
It's definitely a process.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How do you guys deal with that? And what do you do for that?
Yeah, we can provide resources if they don't have them. In finding outside help for support, for that counseling, to address that trauma. Our art therapy programs that come in, art is wonderful and healing in itself. It can lower that stress level within 15 minutes. Also with music, and then play. It's such a wonderful distraction, and working through that trauma. Sand tray therapy.
What's that?
Well, we don't do that ourselves, but outside, where you can work out an experience that has occurred to you with your therapist through sand and through miniature tools. They usually have like a whole wall full of different things, whether it's milk or a boy or a girl or a hospital or this, and the child chooses what they want to play out, what they want to work on.
How interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that before. That's really interesting. And so then through the play, that's helping them feel safe and secure in this environment, right?
And gaining that sense of mastery.
Yes, because I'm a person that needs to be in control.
Yes.
So I don't I don't want to go in someplace and it's scary to me. I've had surgery before, and that it is scary. So even, for the teens, and that's scary. Or seeing your child have to go through this, right?
Yes.
So is there a particular way you provide those services to, let's say, the brother or sister are going to surgery? Do you then do kind of the same thing with them to explain what's happening?
They're typically present when we do our sessions. So it's kind of, and the parents as well, they want to see it. They want to know what I'm going to say to their child. And they're the ones that ultimately decide if I'm allowed to do that. Like, I need to ask permission. Like, are you okay with this? Get them on board, empower them. We can do this together.
Right.
Some parents want to speak about it. Others say, no, you do the whole thing. And that could be regarding a diagnosis. That could be regarding the surgery. That could be regarding end of life and legacy work. We do a lot of bereavement support. And if we don't ask, we don't know what we can provide and where we could go next to really enhance their journey.
Yeah. So how do you personally cope with the emotional weight of your job?
All my hobbies. Go home singing at the top of your lungs, right? Shake it off.
I go to the gym. I have to pump it out, work it out, just to clear my head for the next day and just be prepared for what's going to come. We just don't know what each day is going to bring.
Exactly. But with bereavement, right, that has to be, you guys have built some really great bonds with people. I know that's really tough for us as well, because you bond with these families and with the child. So Yeah, I get it. Like you going to the gym or going scuba diving or something. Are you able to just, shake it off and not take it home? Or has that become an issue also, mental wellness for you?
We do have a field with a lot of burnout, just like nursing, um, and that probably contributes to it. At this point, it's like, if for me, it's a gift to be able to talk about life and death circumstances with patients and families. They teach me so much, and learning how they're going to cope and how they're going to deal with it or not deal with it helps me. I don't know how to explain that.
It's probably one of the most challenging things I'll ever do in a career is help a family lose a child or deal with losing a child. But as I've explained to my parents, I'm glad that there's somebody like us to do it. I mean, it's not something that I thought I would ever do.
Right.
However, I'm thankful at the end of the day that we have services and resources to provide so that those families have that while they're grieving, after they're grieving, for years to come for their other children as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's so special what you do. So child life in general, what new technologies and treatments are you seeing nationwide that you would like to bring to your hospital? Because I know when we spoke about doing the playrooms and you were going to a conference in Vegas or something, wasn't it? And we're able to see like a lot of stuff that's being done out there. What are you seeing out there?
Well, one of the neatest things I saw, I guess it was highlighted in the last Super Bowl, where there's these robots that were wearing jerseys, but they represented children within the hospital setting. And so what that meant was the child has some type of remote with some type of FaceTime feature where they can manipulate the robot to participate in events that they cannot.
Oh, wow.
So they may be isolated for some type of reason, infection control, but they want to attend the magic show that we're hosting. So they will send their robot to the magic show and be present.
How cool is that?
So somewhere down the line, I forget how many kids got to participate in a box seat at the Super Bowl with the robot. And so they watched it from their room. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow, that is so cool. Well, if there's any donors out there that want to send us some money and we can buy a robot, we can chaseitadream.org. That's where you're going to send it. All right, so tell me what else you'd like to chat about. I see you've got tons of notes there. Is there something we haven't covered?
Goodness. I guess with child life itself. So we basically started in the 1920s as a field, and currently we're in over 25 countries.
Oh, wow.
And we probably are about 7,000 certified child life specialists in today. So just kind of a little bit of background.
So I have to tell you, just interrupt you here for just briefly. When I was leaving my job at St. Mary's, when I was managing the neonatal practice and trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, I interviewed to be a child life person at Jupiter.
Yes.
And but then I didn't want to do the schooling. I was like, I don't know about this. I've done enough schooling. I think I'll look at something else. So I did the foundation, but so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's true. It is a long path to become a certified child life specialist.
Sure is.
And it is a special little niche, but I'm very passionate about it. And it's kind of crazy thinking like I've been doing this for over 20 years, working with patients and families. And at this point, I was like, okay, if my average is about like 50 kids a day, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've seen over 200,000 kids at this point. Like,
cool.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is.
And then out in the community here, it's like, oh, Miss Julie, I remember you. And it's like seeing your teacher, like, in the grocery store,
right.
And then just the love and the hugs. And it's just so much joy.
But that's like who don't you remember like running into your teacher all these years later, and they haven't really changed, right? But you've changed so much. Totally. And how many people must come up and be like, Miss Danielle, Miss Julie, and you're like, I have no idea, right?
We remember you, like that's just what a child wants to know, right?
Yes. So you just hug them and say, yeah.
What are some of our best moments?
I am always a fan of the holidays. So, whether that's St. Patty's, Valentine's, we had a balloon given to every child at Valentine's Day. St. Patty's Day, we had Virginia from KVJ come, and Captain Crust, and they've just been so good to us as well. But just any event that can be celebrated. We had a spring fling that we were able to have the foundation that supports us, our hospital foundation. We had a DJ there and events going on, face painting, anything that we can do to really just jazz up a hospital day for a child. But now, second half of the year, we're looking forward to the holidays.
I know, it's like coming again. I know.
We got calls in June.
Right?
People want to have us be their donation site. So we're, resting up for that.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Again, it's hard for a kid to be in the hospital around that time. But Halloween is the most magical time. The whole hospital gets involved, and kids get to trick or treat and forget that they're in the hospital for Halloween.
No, that's so true. We would when I was outside, my office was outside the NICU, and you knew they were coming because you heard them, right? And so you went out there with your candy, and they all trick or treat by it. So cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, those are special moments because you have to make them fun. Yeah, I love that. So what message would you give to a child who's facing a life-threatening diagnosis?
Definitely, you got this, and empower them, and showing them that they're gonna make it through, and it's not their fault. They didn't do this to themselves. They didn't cause this.
Yeah.
Those are really important messages.
And it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
Child that is overwhelmed, dealing with emotional parents and siblings, it's okay to just be sick or to be healing, And again, like Julie said, the empowerment, I think that's paramount for a child, regardless if they're 2 or 18, just to make them feel like, not that this is your moment, but, it's okay to feel all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about your advice to parents who feel like they're barely hanging on?
Oh, I'm a parent too. It's hard being on the other side. I don't know what that feels like, but I do know that kids know the truth. And if we could just continue being honest with them, as hard as that can be in the moment sometimes, because the ramifications of not being honest are so magnified. It's like another trauma. Why didn't you tell me? I found out because I looked up chemotherapy. I found out because I looked up these medical terms that the nurses and doctors were talking to about. Kids are smarter than we give them credit for. But it's not easy. Everything's happening so fast, so rapidly. There's almost no time to process in the moment when you get the news, right? So talking them down and trying to get to their level and say it's going to be better in the long run, to be honest, and this is why. And then the child, you can see them relax. Now I understand. Now I know what's happening. Everyone's on my team. We're in it together. And then it's go time.
Mm-hmm. And what's your hope for the future of child life?
Continue to grow.
She took the words right out of my mouth. We actually right now are looking for another child life specialist, so Julie does not have to do it all by herself. We are growing. We have 68 beds, and plus the emergency department, and we're adding some new rooms to several units. So Julie's been treading water, I feel like, for a long time. So we're thankful that the opportunity is there for us to add another child life specialist. So to continue to grow, hopefully get some volunteers on board to really, again, bring that joy and that special magic that Child Life brings to every unit on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you to both of you for sharing your compassion and insight into the vital role of child life. To the families listening, you are not alone. We see your strength and we're here to walk beside you. To our supporters, your belief in programs like Mindful Haven helps us bring comfort, clarity, and hope to those who need it most. If you would like to help make a difference, please consider donating, subscribing to the podcast, or sharing this episode. Every act of kindness moves us closer to a community where no child or parent faces this journey alone. Visit us at chaseingdream.org to learn more. And until next time, may we all lead with empathy and lift each other up with love. thank you so much for joining us today.
For having us.
This has been so much fun, but I knew it would be so much fun with you guys and so informative because you really are a vital role that a lot of people aren't aware of unless, you're in the hospital. But you provide something that's so magical to these children. And thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for coming in today. This has been awesome.